Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll be honest with you. I think that I have a way to go in the things that I learn and the places that I go. I've got lots and lots and lots to learn. And to be honest, that's okay. We are live on social media and we are also on Clubhouse. And I have been over to Chatter this morning, where everybody, I can assure you, is well, they're all a bit overwhelmed by the fact that there's more to life than just Clubhouse. To be honest, over on Chatter, it's like, oh, you're still over on that old Clubhouse, and here we are on Chatter. Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't care where we are, whether we are on YouTube, which we are for those on YouTube, hey, and we are on Twitch, and we are on X. Now, I'll tell you what, we are not on Facebook, and I'll tell you for why. Because we're being, we're being censored. That's the word. We're being censored. And my concern about, well, other places and not just this, is that this censorship, this hiding information behind paywalls really has to end. I know that that's how most people grift their life, but frankly, it's just not appropriate. Okay, so we're not doing that anymore. We give away information in the information age, and what we provide therefore is the value that comes from that information. So today, I'm going to give you some information, but you can do what you like with it, because that's what we do, right? We've got an enormous amount of information in this information age. Have you noticed? And we might be on X, we might be on Twitter, we might be on Twitch, we might be on LinkedIn, we might be on Facebook, we might be on Chatter, we might be on Clubhouse. Who knows where the hell we are? We could even get ourselves a Discord channel, or perhaps you're on Slack. But to be honest, you're pretty much on everything, aren't you? And if you're on everything, I'm not sure whether you know which direction you're going or which way's up. I'm grateful that I do, because I'm MJ and I've been in belonging in business for, well, over a year now. I've been in MJ's house for as long as it's been in creation, and I've been online for, well, 3, 4, I don't know, since the pandemic, since I died, which was, a handy thing. Don't do it alone. Please don't go alone. Death is good if you can survive it. But frankly, near-death experiences aren't the thing that you should do just to get your ducks in a row. Although I think, to be honest, that might have been what happened to me. So we're going to talk this morning about all things 10 dimensions, and I'll tell you why. Because my coach Pete Cohen asked me yesterday how I was finding all that dimensional travel, and I think there was a slight tongue in his cheek, potentially a tongue in his cheek, because I think when I talk, although I talk, I suppose, in analogies, actually, if you look underneath what I talk some sense. So the 10 dimensions are the places that I've been visiting over the last 3 to 4 years. I'm just going to talk about them because I think they're really important. And if you bob on my Insta, you'll see that I gave you a quick summary of them as well. Anyway. I'm going to talk about the physical dimension, because I think when we talk about the physical dimension, we think that, well, it's all about, I don't know, all about being the biggest, I don't know, the buffest, the prettiest, the fastest, the whateverist, that physical overcoming or going through our physical dimension, being in this physical entity, having a human experience as a soul having a human experience, that this physicality is about just being. Well, it's not, because we were born to move. So whether you move all the time sitting down and you do a lot of stimming and you wriggle around, whether you're a wriggle bum in your seat, or whatever you do to move, right? The physical dimension is executed, is activated, in my humble, by the physical movement. And I don't care how you do it, not bothered which way you do it. You don't have to be a gym bunny. You don't have to throw yourself in a swimming pool like me. You ain't going to get wriggly in the bedroom if you're not keen on it. I am personally, but there you are. It's just a personal thing. Just move, will you? Physically move. There you are. You got to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the other 10 dimensions. That's just basically my experience. And then emotionally, we just got to connect. Connection's really key. And if you listen to actually genius women like Louise Hay, I have to say, having seen that woman on Instagram in a clip, I realise why she runs what she runs, because she's been here a million times before. We have to emotionally get our shit together. We got to get our ducks in a row emotionally. Got to get that balance. Got to learn to ride those waves. Got to learn to surf. So that's what I've been doing. Emotionally learning to surf. In spite of my terribly challenging, traumatic early experiences, I am learning to surf my own emotions, the second dimension. There's 10, right? So we got a long way to go in 20 minutes. Socially, lots of people, particularly those that are neurodivergent, sometimes are known to say, I'm not so keen on people. Well, I'm not so keen on people acting in ways I don't understand, but I am keen on people. There's a difference. So socially, we have to get connected. We have to get connected emotionally and socially. We have to find things that we connect with other people with, and then talk about them, do them, be them, engage in them. The third dimension. Spiritual. Now, this is the fourth dimension. Not that they're actually labelled. This is just one of 10, right? They're not in any particular order, although they're probably in some sort of doing order, I would imagine. Spiritual. Now, I was baptised by full immersion at the age of 15. That's not because I am obsessed with churches. It's because I went to 4 churches at the time. All 4 gave me something different, whether it was a youth group or whether it was a singing group or whether it was morning worship or whether it was evening celebration. And I think that was pretty much what they all did. And the youth group in one of them was particularly good. The prayer was particularly good in another. Another did 3, 1, 2 days of fasting. So I took from each what I needed in order to create my spiritual being. And, you know, if you just look at the jewelry I wear, everything I have is esoterically, which we'll move on to, esoterically imbued with the positivity that I like to bring to my life. So that's spiritual. I'm not necessarily religious. In fact, I find religious ridiculous, because how can one religion be right? It's just ludicrous. There's only one way, and that's your way. Ethical. And moving on from spiritual, there's that ethical dimension, isn't there? The bit where you go, now then, if I tell everybody that God is all of my understanding, even though I can't see him and I can't prove it, and I absolutely say it's absolute fact, and then I have a war about it, maybe that's a bit ridiculous. Just saying. Ethically, I'm not sure that if you don't agree with me, I should kick your head in, is really the way that ethically we should roll. Now, there's far more to ethics than that, I can assure you, because so far in the UK, you're either at risk or a risk. That's the kind of social work paradigm right now. And I'm a trainee social worker, just in case you wanted to know. But ethical. Our ethical values sit with our spiritual and our social and our emotional and even our physical boundaries, because, you know, you're not going to go on, I don't know, take yourself to a sex club if it's not your bag, right? So everything, including your physical, goes with your ethical understanding. So those definitely layer. Our ethereal level is next. So what is there in the field? What is the ethereal field? Well, it's everything that's here, everything that's around you. You can't see electricity, can you? But you know it exists. So it's everything that you can sense within your vibrational field, your ethereal field. And our ethereal field runs to about forever, but we can feel generally, without any exercise, without any of that physical practice, we can feel to about 6 foot away. So you know when you sense somebody come through the door but you didn't hear them, that's your ethereal field. That's what you're feeling. You're feeling that 6th dimension. As I say, they're not in any order. Although it does lead to the 7th that I'm discussing, which is the logical dimension. What is logic? Well, is logic that you can see electricity? No. Does it exist? Yes. So, do you exist? Yes. Are you only a physical being, or do you have a felt sense? Then you're a soul. It's just logic. So the logical field says, the logical dimension says, work it out and work out whether what you're hearing is true. Do you think that everybody in the world is violent and aggressive, or might the media be telling you a different story? Might you not know millions of violent, aggressive, evil people? Might there just be ordinary people around you that might be okay? I think maybe there might. So the logical field says that actually some of what we're hearing might not be exactly what we need to be focusing on. It's just logical, right? Because if we are focusing on that, like I've just been over to Chatter, and I'll be honest, as much as it was a very good room, the entire room was focused on whether Biden will live to be a president, whether the girl, Camilla, whatever her name is, Camilla, whatever her name is, nice girl, is fit enough because she's a woman, or whether Trump actually is controlling China and Russia in the water, basically. But literally, for an hour, they chewed around this idea, and yet they didn't actually do anything to change or alter or impact on their country apart from babble on about it, she says, babbling on about things in a room. But you know what I'm saying? I think logically we have to say, actually, what does it matter? Because they know bigger things than us. They are doing far bigger things than we can be in control of. Let's control our small corner, my small corner, me and my small corner. I'll look at putting the light in my small corner and they can put it in theirs. It's just logical. Now, that leads me on very nicely to the metaphysical, which is the seventh. It's where we take the physical. We're living in this world with Russia and with China and with Trump and with Biden and with Camilla. Is it Camilla? Camilla. With all the people doing all the running to all the presidential things, even in England, right? We've got new prime ministers. We've got people leaving in Wales. We've got proportional representation in 2026. It's all going on. But do I go on about it? Do I talk about it all the time? Is it something I focus on? Absolutely not, because I have to focus on the metaphysical. I have to focus on the physical, but I have to focus on what I'm creating in the field. Remember? In the ethereal field. What am I making in my ethereal field? What am I making today? What am I creating? What am I bringing together? What energy have I brought into this package of this time today? That's our metaphysical, when we take our physical and our ethereal and we put it together. But also when I'm doing that, I have to focus on the next one, unfortunately, which is my socio-spatial, right? Socio-spiritual. It's a new one. Socio-spatial is a thing. Socio-spiritual might be a bit different. Where are we in the spiritual space? Where are we in the ethereal making space? Here, all around us, all around us. Where are we? Well, where we are is in a good vibration. And how do we do that? Well, we do that through reaching out beyond that 6 foot, reaching out in meditation, reaching out energetically. And if you've ever connected with somebody energetically, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the socio-spiritual. When we connect with another person and we feel a sense of social belonging, because remember, we're in belonging in business. If you feel a sense of a social belonging when you are with somebody, and it's about business, and actually it has a spiritual essence in that you know it's for the greater good, then you've got your socio-spiritual dimension on, right? And I think that's banging, because I'm at it all the time. And it leads me quite nicely into the 10th dimension, which is the esoterical. And basically, all that means is everything joined together: the spiritual, the social, the emotional, the spiritual, the ethical, the all of it, the logical, all of it, all of it, all of it, the metaphysical, the bringing it together, the becoming, the creation, the esoterical. So, although I think that my coach may have been having a little bit of a joke, I guess, tongue in cheek potentially, with how you find in the 10 dimensions, or how you finding it in La La Land. I'm not sure it's La La Land, but you know what I mean. That's exactly where I go. And I go to co-create with the universe everything that I've ever asked for. But now I know how to ask for it in a way that serves me and serves everybody else, because actually I'm learning to serve. I'm learning to serve in the metaphysical world, I'm learning to serve in the esoterical world, and I'm learning to serve my emotions whilst being a human, well, having a human experience, but being a soul person, actually. So These 10 dimensions and this soul surfing, it's not an easy gig. And I have to come down from planet MJ sometimes, and I have to land here in the real world. And that means that in between my dimensional hopping and in between my meditation and in between my having a great time right inside here, I'm talking about my body, my mind, my soul, my heart. Having a good time in here involves coping and managing and surfing the happenings outside. And I'm going to say right now, in the last sort of 5 minutes of me talking with you, that I believe that we are better together, because otherwise it's really hard to, well, bang on those doors of anything beyond the physical dimension, or to bang on the doors of emotional regulation, or to think about connection, or to consider whether we are ethically and spiritually aligned. I think that takes time, and then I think we need to come back and apply it. Because it's okay meditating, isn't it? It's all right journaling. It's okay. I've got a thing called a life book right now going on, and it's brilliant, and it's going to be really pretty. And I'm sure there'll be a print option at the end of it where you can print your own life book so you can look it over and put it onto your coffee table. I'm sure somebody's created a brilliant entity, a thing, a physical happening, a thing I can put on my coffee table and I can feel has been created, right? I can make it physical. I can manifest my intentions into a coffee book, into a coffee table book. But what about what I do with it? What about what we do with what's in the book? Because the first page is physical, and I'm going through the 10 dimensions that I'm exploring, the 10 dimensions of my experience, and I am applying them. And in that book, I can add pictures, I can add links, I can add all of it. You can imagine. You can imagine. But that product was held behind a paywall. I'm not. I'm not held behind a paywall. I'm here. My paywall doesn't exist, because my paywall for our business is at point of delivery. We're like the NHS. We're free at point of delivery. We're not free because we definitely have to pay ourselves, but we're free at point of delivery. So I don't so much have to worry about paywalls at the moment. I haven't got a problem with being charged for or charging out myself, but I do have a problem with being out of my dimensional realm. So I like to come here. I like to come here on a Saturday and share with you guys. I'm told that Clubhouse is old school. Well, there we go. So am I. And we're going to go over to Chatter. We have a new Chatter channel, Inclusion and Belonging in Business. We're all over there, including the comedy channel, because I do sit down after dark, and believe me, you want to be there. We have a room tonight over on Chatter, actually, at 7 o'clock, and we have this room being repeated. Not on repeat, because I'm not a repeat. I'm definitely not a repeat. I might be a repeater, but I'm not on repeat, I can assure you. So 7 o'clock tonight, although it's a similar subject, it certainly won't be the same material, but it will be at 7 o'clock, and it will be over on Chatter. And we're just trialing it. Because we can share screen, we can share video, we can go live, you can see us, you can jump on stage, we could do a little play, we can sing, we can dance, and it's now on Android. So I'm going to be sharing the link today, but come over and let's play. Let's play in the esoterical world. Let's play in the metaphysical world. Let's co-create together in our dimensions, spiritually and ethically and physically, and honorably guided by those that lead us, ourselves, and share together tonight. And then of course on Monday we're back in Belonging in Business in MJ's house, 6 o'clock for Motivational Monday. Every Monday. It gets me going for the week, and I'm on holiday next week. Believe me, it is party time after this weekend. But I will still be here on Monday morning, because for me, Monday mornings are part of my motivation for the week. Whether I'm at work, whether I'm at play, whatever I'm doing, I still need motivating to play, to work, to be, to engage, to create, to work out what the sum of all things are. I have to get up early. I study really, really early. Apparently, it's called the miracle morning, and during that time, you come up with the most brilliant ideas. And here it is, today's offering. And there's more and more and more and more. We are going to New York. Why? Well, I'm going to meet a friend who I've been talking to for a while, who really feels that everybody should belong, and everybody should belong no matter what they present as. Her name is Cindy, and I'm very excited to be going over to New York with a friend who's here today. Very, very, very excited. Very excited. Let's hope that we can pull it together in the metaphysical world so that physically we can engage with each other right the way over there in the Big Apple. In only a couple of weeks, right? It's amazing what you can co-create when you really go deep into those 10 dimensions. I really am excited to be here, but more than that, and just before I close, I just want to say that there are lots and lots of things that I've set in motion for the coming year, and that includes MJ's. It includes coming here on a Saturday, it includes Monday mornings, it includes belonging in business, and it includes inclusion. Why? Because, well, inclusion is a foregone conclusion. Yeah? It just is. It just is. Because if we're not for inclusion, then I have to ask what we stand for, to be honest. And I'm into every dimension, including that physical. It's important what I put in my body, because what I put in my body creates this. The mind that I am talking, the talk, the chatter, the conversation that evolves from my mind through my happening, I have to feed that with good things. Good things to read, good things to study. It's why I'm at university, and good things to eat and drink. And we all know the coffee I drink, and if we don't, please DM me, because believe me, if you drink coffee, you need to drink my coffee. It's the only coffee to drink. Seriously. When I say my coffee, I mean mine. I don't even mean the company that I buy it from. I mean my coffee. Wait till you see what I've learnt to do with coffee. We are creating some beautiful things. I have a tiny business called The Kitchen Witch, and she is just a boss. And I have to say, some of the recipes that she's created have just been, well, outstanding. When it comes to coffee and drinks, she knows what she's doing. And we're putting all of this together in one package, and I think it's called MJ. It's called MJ, and it's whatever I do, whether it's for work, accessibility partners, it's how we get paid. I get paid through the government for the Access to Work programme. That's the UK government for disabled people. And I see we've got some worldwide disabled people here. And good afternoon, Dr. Ahmed, or morning, or evening, or whatever day it is in your life. It's fantastic to see so many amazing people here. Please do come up if you would like to contribute. It's great to see Victoria and Chess. And Camilla and Andrew and Duncan and Matt and Joe and Amy and Ahmed and oh hey Emmanuel, it's good to see everybody. I haven't even talked about who's on the stage. We've already got Alexia and Jew and James and Philippa, and I'm going to be running away soon. But not because I don't want to be with you, I do, and I'm going to ask you to come up and share, but because I'm just so excited. I've got to go and have this mop, and for those that are on social media, they can see that if I don't go and have something done with this at this side of my head, I've got a hairdressing appointment at 9 o'clock, then seriously, I'm not really sure whether I'll be allowed out of the country and into New York. I wouldn't allow me out if I looked like this. Good morning, Alexia. How are you?
Good morning. I've collected another rarity, mate.
Have you?
Yeah,
Where from?
fancy rarity as well now. I went yesterday to have an injection in my knee, and the surgeon went, "Oh my God," he said,
You don't have any.
"I can't do this." He said, "It won't work." He said, "Why didn't you tell me you got your leg was so misformed?" I said, "I did tell you." I said, "But this is where telephone conversations fall down because you can't see it." So we ended up having a chat, and he was ever so apologetic. I'm only talking about this because I think for people to realise that we're always going to have challenges that come up, and it's how you deal with those challenges that changes not only how you feel, but what you said earlier about situations.
Mm.
And I had a couple of phone calls with this specialist before this meeting to have the injection. And he said to me, I don't even know whether we can do this operation on your knee or not. He said, because it's not a standard operation. He said, I would have to find a surgeon that is prepared to take it on. He said, and if there aren't many of them. So we had a chat about it, and I said, well, we'll just have to go with the flow of what is. And he's going to write around. He gave me a choice of hospitals. I said, oh, I don't particularly care where I go, because it'll be a question of who would actually take it on, because they can't just replace my knee. They would actually have to do, I can't explain exactly what he said because I was a bit taken aback myself. That would have to take out part of the bone in the top of the leg, and it would be much more than just putting a knee replacement in, basically. It is a big job. So you and I are still the rarest two out there, you know.
Well,
Anyway,
is it your right knee? Is it your right one? Because it's my right one they can't do anything
yeah,
with.
it's my right one as well, so we can't even make one decent one out of both.
Good morning, Alexia. For those that are here that don't know Alexia is the earth healer. She goes around and she collects rubbish in her local area. She has cleaned up Wisbeach from moving there. The woman went to Wisbeach and told the council that basically it was going to clean up if she was going to do it on her own, and she did, basically. And then all of the neighbours started to watch her. She's got a friend called Daniel, he helps her, and then they've all started cleaning up their act too. So frankly, this lady, she's on the Health Watch board, she's in Wisbeach, she moved there, she's made the difference just by being who she is. And actually, Alexia is on Top Trumps. If anyone's ever played Top Trumps, they haven't played Top Trumps until they've played Karen Dark's Top Trumps, because Alexia's on the Top Trumps cards. So if you really want to play Top Trumps, that's the one you want to play. And if you want to play alongside a blooming boss, then this is the woman. The knee thing, it really, really made me fed up when I thought that if we replace my right knee, we might be able to have it so I was allowed to pivot turn. Like, literally, that was my hope, that I could pivot turn and I would no longer have to transfer by slide board or, you know, lifting myself, physically lifting my body up to do it, over to do wherever I'm going. But the right knee is shot, a bit like yours, but it's flat. Mine is flat. So I'm just grateful that you just came on stage and went, do you know what? I'm as rare as you, because I just like the fact you get down and say it.
The other thing is, and the other thing I want, it's something you mentioned, and I think this is so important. What you put out there comes back to you. Now, in the space of 3 weeks, I've seen 2 different specialists for different reasons and got diagnosed with something else that's so rare I still haven't even learned how to pronounce it. But basically what it means is I've got lesions on the brain. So my brain's got holes in it. But how you deal with those people and how you deal with that situation is important. Normally, if somebody goes into hospital, you see the specialist, you see the nurse, whatever, and you walk out. When I saw a specialist in King's Lynn Hospital, he was so, and I'm not doing this to be big-headed, but I want people to realise what you put out there is so important. He saw me off the premises and said he was amazed that I didn't see this from the wrong point of view, which is what social media can tend to make us do. And a lot of what we learn can make us think and feel that way. I had the same experience yesterday. The surgeon walked me right through the hospital to my mobility scooter and then stopped and he said, "Can I ask you something very personal?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Can I give you a hug?" I said, "Of course you can." So I said, "Well," because we were talking about the national health and where things are going. And as the earth healer, there's one big thing you can do for yourself. It's not just looking after the earth for the earth's sake. If you're looking after the earth, you're looking after your health. You're looking after your family's health. You're looking after your children's health. You're looking after your neighbour's health. But when we put the right energies out there, we're doing things. That's where the power is. Two top surgeons in Cambridge that I didn't know I was going to see on either of those appointments, who gave me the honour of actually walking me out of the hospital, having a conversation with me, saying, "Well, can we work together? Because there's going to be a lot of changes in the NHS." I've been talking to the falls prevention team. That's all changing because of finances. We've got to start to take responsibility for our own health, for our own well-being. Medicine should be there as a last resort, not as a first go-to. I don't mean if you've got a problem, you shouldn't go and ask medically what it is, because you could treat something in the wrong way. But a pill isn't always the answer. This is why it's so important what MJ talks about what we eat, what we do, how we see life. MJ and I've had a near-death experience as well. MJ and I have got so many things in common. It's hilarious. We must have got mixed up somewhere with MJ. I don't know quite what went on, but we must have done. But what you do and how you say something is what makes a difference. I literally, might be nearly 6 years ago, walked into Cambridge, into Wisbech Council meeting, and told them if they didn't sort this town out, I was going to do it. Now I've had to step back. That doesn't mean I've stopped. It means I have to change, just as MJ's had to change the way she does things. But when you get something come up that's difficult to do, that doesn't mean you need to stop. It means you need to look at another way, finding another way of doing it, or get somebody else to help you do it. I'm not going to say there always is an answer, but 99 times out of 100 there is an answer. Pete's talked about this many times when his mum said to him when I've worked with Pete as well. I know Pete. In fact, Pete's on Top Trump's cards as well. Pete Cohen. If you want to make something happen, it's up to you. The other point I'm going to point out, I think, that gets forgotten is that doesn't mean when MJ's talking to you, she hasn't got her negative points, thinking, "Oh God, this is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. This is going to happen." I'll tell you something. Working with Access to Work and DSA is like a minefield.
It's mental.
It is, MJ. It really is.
It is.
And those minds have little legs on them, you know. Can't you see I'm walking sometimes when we're trying to do something?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you can't have that now. No, we don't do that.
No, you can have it. No, you didn't have it. You can have it next week. You couldn't have it last week. Yep.
No.
Have they had an ADHD assessment?
No, you arrange it for me, James.
I'll be honest. The entire world wants the ADHD assessment, including the checklist. I'm just saying. To be honest, I'm not sure. I think we're all ADHD. I think that's a terrible blanket statement, but you know what I mean. Yeah, no, Alexia, the fact that you can see things so clearly just helps me, because for the fact that you've got tunnel vision and yet you've got the greatest sense of peripheral vision I've ever known. The whole thing about the health watch, it's true. It's bloody true. You might physically have tunnel vision, but esoterically you've got the broadest vision I've ever seen. On account of the fact that the whole thing about the health and the NHS and the cuts, mate. I heard this kind of. I could hear the rumblings 10 years ago, and I
Yeah,
did,
so did I.
and I kind
Yeah.
of went, "Oh, this isn't good." And now, I'll be honest, I'm writing an assignment. I'm just finishing it now. These last two assignments I've had to resit that were way back from the beginning of the year. Well, too right, I had to resit them because I'll be honest, I had to revisit them just so I could realise that the 2023 Health and Social Care Act in Wales actually means, that was written in 2020, that was enacted, brought into bear April 2024, so this year. Yeah, so we're talking about it only came into being April 2024, is in fact everything that I've been banging on about for the last 10 years, about the fact that we're all going to hell in a handcart and there's not going to be any public services yet left.
The reason I want people to realise that why this is happening.
Yeah.
Even though I was really dyslexic, I was a nurse for over 11 years, and by God, I got told off for my misspelling. But I still did it.
I can
Yes,
imagine.
I did, MJ. I got dressed down in the middle of a ward of patients. That
It's
was
not
embarrassing.
nice. It's not nice. It's
No,
not nice.
No, that's not. But the National Health Service, I was lucky enough. The National Health Service, for those that don't know, and I'm assuming most of you in this room don't know, basically came into being in 1952. Didn't go nationwide till about 1953. It actually started in London. The reason I know this, because at one time I nursed a retired matron, and she was matron of one of the top hospitals in Sussex, one of the big ones in Sussex. And she talked about what it was like before we had an NHS. And if you had toothache, earache, a broken leg, before you called the doctor, you'd think, can I pay that bill or not? Can I get the surgery done on my knee? I worked for Bupa, and we had the charges just for a room up on the wall then. And that's nearly 20 years ago now. And that was, I can't remember exactly, but just the room on top of the bill, being in the Nuffield, was over £100 a day then. So if we want an NHS, before you go running to the doctors, before you go running for the pill, step back, have a look at your lifestyle. Are you doing enough exercise? Now, even if you're in a wheelchair, you can do exercise, because MJ goes swimming. At the moment, I can't do some of the exercises I was doing because my Omeo had an argument with me. And I can't get back on it, obviously, until my leg is safe. Otherwise, I might be in serious trouble. But there's so many simple things you can do to take the pressure off the NHS. If you've got toothache, look at the source of why you've got toothache. Because if you're eating a lot of sugar, if you stop eating a lot of that sugar, that will stop a lot of your toothache. Because that's what's causing, I would say, 85 to 90% ever problem with their teeth. Because if you look back in history, they didn't have bad teeth years ago. They only started having bad teeth once we came across sugar. So if you make some simple changes in your life and don't eat long life stuff, and that doesn't mean sometimes you don't have to do it, because you might be travelling and it's the only thing you can do. anything that you've got in your cupboard or in your fridge that's low fat, go and throw it in the bin, because that's man-made. There is no goodness in that food at all. I was talking about this with the surgeon yesterday, and we both agreed that if you've got low fat stuff in the house, just chuck it out. We've got so many